Hi everybody. Today our group 15% our management accounting presentation, and this two is my group members.
My name is Tian Chen.
And my name is Tong Xin Wu.
And my name is Rong Gui Luo, and let me do the first one to present our topic. Our topic is the critical of Frankel's and Toll contemporary performance measurement systems, a review of their consequence and a framework for research. Frankel's and Toll's article's main purpose was to synthesize research finding on consequence in all forms for contemporary performance measurement systems. We find that the authors define contemporary performance measurement system, or CPM, as any systems that exist for the purpose of using both financial and non-financial performance, both financial of the measure to put into operation strategy, objective of the firm. Examples of CPM include balance scored multi-critical key performance indicators, performance regime, and level of control frameworks. The CPM must therefore have the key components of connecting both financial and non-financial performance. Measure to strategy whether this is in the form of an explicit or implicit connection. And it must serve the purpose of information decision making and evaluating organization performance. The author further separates CPMs into 4 types, given how the key components and purpose may differ in different CPM systems. As you can see in the slide below, as a key note to practitioners and academics relying on the findings of this paper, they must be aware the Frankel's and Toll's research is limited to the context of CPMs only in the for-profit provider sectors. Frankel's and Toll's research concluded that in terms of the consequence of introducing CPM, literature mostly agrees on the various positive and negative outcomes, not limited to performance outcomes. Although in some areas, finding could be inconsistent, this is due to a variety of factors, including CPM system design, its development methods of use, various internal contingents at both employee level and organizations level, and external contingents such as environment, uncertainty, and competition. Frankel's and Toll's conclude that CPM use does have effect in all 3 levels, 1, 2, 3 levels of the organization. The levels are individual, organizational capabilities, and organizational performance. It also concludes that CPMs are integral to strategy, communication, and management process. The authors also summarized various theories used to explain how CPM led to various consequences. This assists in explaining the nature of consequences. They include agency contingents, global setting, and equity theories, resource-based view of the firm, and cognitive-based psychology research. And next part of my partner will be present.
In our critique, we found that Franco-Santo altos work as several notable strengths that contribute to reliability, credibility, and validity. As a core issue of CPM, one recent work of Goshu and Keto argue that performance measurement systems in academic literature generally have no single definition. It makes it difficult for academic and practitioners to identify what is and what isn't CPM. Franco-Santo alto overcome this, providing a single unified definition using several literature sources. This adds reliability to the work's finding as it clarifies for use the characteristic of CPM. Franco-Santo alto work also identified 4 types of CPM under this theoretical definition, separating them by characteristic of component and purpose of evaluation. This provides greater context to research finding and its information for both academic and practitioners in relation to the scope of where and when finding can be applied. Reliability and validity of Franco-Santo alto findings are also given by the breadth of their research. In selecting of conducting their research, the authors are inclusive of empirical research that use variety of countries, industry, and research method. This selection of articles also cover the variety of research discipline, including management, accounting, operating management, and strategy. To reduce the effect of possible based on research finding, it also adds to the depth and breadth of research on all CPM consequences. In short, making Franco-Santo's research comprehensive. Additionally, Franco-Santo alto's work has internal validated this event from the way that the balanced presentation between supportive and dissenting views is given. Franco-Santo alto findings are future credible due to the author's use of a very strict selection strategy. The time frame used highly relevant to the purpose of their study. For 1992 to 2011, the articles selected are as current as possible, but it's also inclusive of key articles that were published after time-key CPM models like BSC were introduced. The author feature only use reputable journals select according to the ABS Academic Journal Quality Guide. This ensure the quality of article review and those adding to the credible of Franco-Santo alto's work. Next, my partner to introduce the weaknesses and the limitations.
Yeah, for the Franco-Santo alto's work also involved some state and unstate limitation that may indicate that the findings are not reliable in all situations. And firstly, the authors admit that they may interpret variables in certain qualitative articles in different way to their original efforts. And secondly, their work is specifically limited to Western cultures. In their research, they only included studies from countries like Australia, United States, and Western European contrast. Therefore, their finding could be constrained by the failure to account for effect for culture on the CPM consequences. And next, the usefulness of Franco-Sentel et al. Findings is not fully up to date. New research may have already addressed gap areas where the authors could not find available information. So, for example, in Franco-Sentel and Otley, this research addressed the gap on how manners cognitive basis affective CPM consequences. And in Peter et al., the research gap of how CPM effectiveness is impacted by the interaction between managers and business intelligence technology is adjusted. And finally, Franco-Sentel et al. Its finding failed to consider for CPM consequences in the public sectors, according to Horry and Schill. This difference to the private sector in the degree that managers are sensitive to public opinions and politics. Similar finding are Rogers, this one, highlight that the public sectors there is greater importance of agency and legitimacy theory, which impacts CPM implements. So in conclusion, Franco-Sentel et al.'s working is useful if set within the boundaries of a Western organization setting, inside a full-profile organization, and if users are only looking for broad scope understanding on CPM consequences. For a more sophisticated understanding, it is recommended that academic and practitioners conduct future research into areas neglected within this work. And thank you for listening.